In 2007, 14-year-old Cristabelle Braden suffered a traumatic brain injury in an event that would not only transform the rest of her entire life, but would impact the lives of thousands of others. One Sunday, with her church youth group, Cristabelle was out running around playing the game as she ran headfirst into a wall. Then she fell over and her head crashed to the ground as she was in severe head pain. She was taken to the doctor, her wounds were treated, she was checked out, and everybody at the medical facility thought everything was fine. They thought she was okay. They said, we got her wounds treated, here's some medication. And they literally said, in a little while, you're just going to laugh about this. This is not really that big a deal. But as the weeks and the months went by and the symptoms and the pain persisted, she couldn't take it anymore. So they took her to another doctor, and she was diagnosed with a traumatic brain injury. So she was dealing with severe memory loss. Cristabelle could not do so many of the things she was once able to do. Her schoolwork, dance lessons, play sports. She couldn't even recall words. She was having such a difficult, challenging time. And on top of that, she was having emotional outbursts. She would begin yelling before she even knew she was mad. She'd start crying before she even knew she was sad. She was dealing with severe depression. Now, this isn't even what she remembers. Most of the first 2 years of her injury, she has to be told by her family what happened because she doesn't have any memory of it. But in the darkness of her pain and in the depth of her depression, she leaned on her faith. And she cried out to God. And God came beside her. She said, God, help me. Help me. Help me with my memory. If I don't need to remember it, just let me forget it. Help me with my memory. Help me with this pain. I don't know what to do. I'm feeling overwhelmed and I'm feeling discouraged. And God came beside her and comforted her and showed her that she had hope and that she was not alone. He opened the door. Cristabelle began learning how to play the guitar and began writing songs and expressing her frustration and her fears and some of the difficulties she was feeling with her injury in music. And she was writing songs about what life was like with a brain injury. And then as the years went on, she began writing songs and recording songs about the goodness of God and the love of God, and that she was not defined by her injury and that her identity was not in her condition. And God began to open the door for her to be the opening act for a local Pennsylvania Christian musician. And she would play some of these songs for about 10 to 15 minutes several times throughout the year at a local bookstore. And then opportunities, more and more doors began opening. And she got to ask to play and perform at conferences and medical facilities. And I was blessed to first meet Cristabelle Braden in 2015 when I was working as an instructor at Success Rehabilitation, which is a brain injury rehab facility in Quakertown, PA. And I was working with those who had suffered brain injuries. And there's so many persistent symptoms that come with brain injury. It's not just a one and done. And a lot of the people that I was working with were not only dealing with memory loss, they were dealing with emotional outbursts, they were dealing with physical fatigue. Some of them used to have been doctors, lawyers, business people, attorneys, and they could not even live independently, function independently. Some of them, their brains and their cognitive abilities were like at an elementary school level. And So I was there trying to provide support and help them, and got to see Cristabelle come and play in 2015. And not only did she come and play, she played these songs about how difficult life was with brain injury, but also about the goodness of God and how much God loves us. And she shared her story, and she talked about how difficult life was with brain injury and how challenging she had found her life over the past 8 years with her brain injury, but that she had seen the goodness of God and the grace of God, and that we could trust Jesus. And the people there and the clients, about the 80 or so clients that were there, were so blessed. They were so encouraged. But not only were they encouraged, the 40 to 60 staff and administration that were present, they were inspired as well by her story and her testimony and her beautiful music. And a lot of the people there were not Jesus followers, but it began to open the door. And she began playing there more often. And over the past few years, she's been hosting an online Bible study support group for people with brain injuries, and they have it every week at Success Rehab where I used to work. And God continues to open doors for her. And in a couple of weeks, she's going to be launching a new nonprofit called Hope Survives, where she will continue to encourage, offer advocacy, offer support, offer help for people with brain injuries and their families. Now, Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And that's what Cristabelle Braden has done and continues to do, because she still deals with the symptoms of her brain injury. She still has headaches. She still has memory loss from time to time. She still has emotional issues. She cannot even drive herself. But she continues to run to God for His love, for His support, for His affection. So you may not be having a brain injury. You might be dealing with something else. You might be dealing with a difficulty in your family. You might be dealing with the painful loss of a loved one. You might be dealing with frustration at work, financial struggles, whatever you're dealing with. Jesus said, "Come to me, all who are weary and heavy laden, and I will give you rest." And over the past 17 years, Cristabelle has not only found rest, she's found encouragement, she's found life, she's found help, she's found healing, and now God is using that to bring health and support and love and shine His light to people who are dealing with the pain of brain injury. Let me invite you to, over the next couple of weeks, take what is weighing you down and come to God with it. Talk to Him about it in prayer. You can be open about it. You can be frustrated about it. You can be angry about it. He is your loving Father. And in the comments below, I want you to share what has you weary and what has you heavy laden. Go and give it to the Lord. He wants to give you rest. Not only does Jesus want to give you rest, He knows what it's like to feel weary and heavy laden, because He carried the cross for hours and then hung on the cross so that you and I could be part of the family of God, so we would not have to carry the burdens of our lives on our own. Leave in the comments below what has you weary and heavy laden, and connect with God and give Him that, and so you will see that you are never alone and that you always have hope in Him. And I'll look forward to seeing you in 2 weeks here at Live the Story.